Welcome everyone. 2015 is rolling to a close, and while we are all awaiting the Merry Christmas traditions that awaits us at home with our families, it's also time to talk shop, to, figure out what 2015 was in terms of gaming, which games came out, and more importantly, what are the best games that came out this year. So I've made a little list, and let's start from the bottom. Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. The story surrounding the development of Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain is close to being more interesting than the game itself. But that shouldn't diminish the fact that Kojima-san and his team delivered a true masterpiece with his final entry in the iconic series. The story is sparse, but the core gameplay loop on display here, that consists mainly of upgrading Mother Base, picking an op, and infiltrating enemy compounds and bases, are so incredibly powerful and addicting that I'd be able to do it forever. Kojima surprised everyone when he announced that Metal Gear Solid was going open world, and now he's managed to put almost all other open worlds to shame. Yes, Kojima did really deliver a true masterpiece with Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain, but it's still at the bottom of my list. So let's move up to Fallout 4. Fallout 4 is a straight sequel in the truest sense of the word. It takes all the systems from Fallout 3 and adds to them, builds upon them, refines them. If you're coming in expecting to be blown away, you'll be blown away if you like getting the expected. This is not Bethesda completely redefining their model, but simply tweaking the formula ever so slightly in order to make a more cohesive role-playing experience. Shooting feels slightly better, the conversation system is not as obtuse, the main storyline is a little more captivating. However, the devil is in the details, and when the groundwork laid by Fallout 3 is so strong, Fallout 4 shines brighter than almost any other big Bethesda RPG, despite the fact that it very much remains within the framework. Yes, a sequel can be nominated for Game of the Year, and is on my personal list, but there are more sequels to come. So let's move on up to the third place. I'm talking, of course, about Halo 5 Guardians. The Halo series has had a rough couple of years. Halo 4 was impressive, but didn't have the staying power that 343 Industries expected. The campaign was solid and told a more personal story, but multiplayer was bland. Cue Halo 5 Guardians. A massive undertaking in terms of content, a game that nails the epic feel of earlier Halo campaigns, despite being low on character exposition. More importantly for the fans out there, multiplayer is now rock solid, and that goes both for the massive Warzone battles and the tighter, smaller modes. The new Spartan abilities adds a whole new layer of possibilities to your Spartan suit, whether it's your multiplayer character, Locke, or the Chief himself, and it changes the gameplay for the better. Halo has never felt better. Straight from 343 Industries to Rocksteady, because this year they had to close out their epic Batman series with Batman Arkham Knight, which is to be found on the second place of my list. Rocksteady's Batman series is arguably one of the greatest gaming series of all time, in terms of the combined quality of its three main entries. And therefore, there was a lot of pressure in its final chapter to deliver the ultimate Dark Knight rush. Whereas some might have been disappointed with the implementation of the Batmobile, Batman Arkham Knight still manages to deliver a thrilling story, meaningful side mission content, fantastic combat, and great puzzles. More importantly, it gets Batman right. Rocksteady understands the source material so well that every line of dialogue, every bit of music, and even the tiniest animation when Batman leaps at a thug just screams the Dark Knight. For that, they deserve credit, and lots of it. The Batmobile platforming sections, however, not so much. And so we arrive at the top of the list. Which game have I forgotten? Where is the king of 2015? I'm talking about an expansive, open world RPG that has mesmerized the entire Gamereactor office and still remains on our top played lists, even to this day, despite the fact that it came out in May. I'm talking about CD Projekt Red's The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, which is my game of the year. The Witcher 3 is the culmination of CD Projekt Red's journey as a developer, from the small, confined spaces of the first game in the series to the massive expanses of this year's entry. Yes, the road has been long, but it's been worth it. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt not only proves that massive role-playing games doesn't have to sacrifice the core story, but also that the player experience has to be front and center. Therefore, the greatest moments come from simply traversing the environment, conversing with various NPCs, and exploring every nook and cranny. It's quite simply one of the best role-playing games ever made that presents an awe-inspiring world filled to the brim with quality content. So that's it, folk. This was me, Magnus's Game of the Year list. I'm sure there will be plenty of time for heated debate, but for now, I'm going back to playing The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt.